Hey everybody, AC here, and welcome back to another episode of Gaming Month. This time we are talking about my second favorite video game of all time, Journey. You all knew this was coming. You all knew this game was going to be here. I have gone on and on. I have gone on and on for several videos talking about why it's my favorite, why it's one of my favorite video games of all time, and I've even said on stream that it is my second favorite video game of all time. I believe I even named the first episode of my original playthrough that my second favorite video game of all time. I'm pretty sure that's what I named the first episode of my original playthrough of Journey here on the channel. And it is. It is my second favorite video game of all time. I absolutely adore it. And I'm pretty sure I've told the story as to why it's my second favorite video game. But for those who don't know, I was going through. I was going through a phase in my life. I want to say I was in middle school. I'm pretty sure. I was going through a bit of a phase where I was starting to play video games less and less, and I was starting to think that video games weren't really that fun anymore. I wasn't having nearly as much fun with video games as I used to. And so I was about on the verge to just kind of give up on video games. I had no interest in doing sports back then. And so, like, if I had given up on video games, I basically would have just been reading books up until I discovered anime. Or maybe I had discovered anime at that point. I can't quite remember. But my life would have been drastically changed if I had actually given up on video games. But it was this game that convinced me that video games are not just meant for entertainment. They're meant to make you feel things. They're meant to invoke feelings inside you that you might not even be aware of. Video games are high art, and this game convinced me of that. It was the first time a video game had actually made me cry. When I played this game for the first time, there was a sense of absolute wonderment, a sense of absolute wonderment in the first couple levels, and then in the first three levels, and then in the fourth level, when you're sliding down. In the fourth level, when you're sliding down the sand slopes, and you turn, and it gets and it ends up getting a bit of a side scroller type view, and you see the sun setting and the sand glistening in the distance and the city on over the horizon. It is just the most gorgeous shot in the entire game, and that shot is what convinced me that video games are high art. And then you go underground, and you start finding all these different machines, and it invokes a sense of dread, and you feel terrified, and you're like, okay, I can't afford to get caught. I don't want to get hurt. I don't want this guy to get hurt. I want him to make his way through this journey. I want him to see the end of this journey. I want to help him get to the finish line, get to his goal. And then you're in the snowy mountains, and all of these, and all the little ribbon friends that have been helping you throughout the journey are dying because it's so cold, and the character you're playing as is shivering, and you feel so bad for them, and you're like, oh god, I gotta hurry up and finish this. And so you start to feel anxiety. You start to feel super anxious, and you just want to get the journey finished. You just want to get him to the end, to see what it was all for. And then you finally make it. You make it to the last stage. And you make it to the final stage, and you're just flying around, endless flight. You're flying around all over. You're flying around all over the place while music swells, and suddenly tears are streaming down your face. And what's going on? Why am I crying over this? This is supposed to be happy. Why am I crying? And yeah, that is what it felt like to play Journey for the first time. That's what it felt like. It wasn't just a journey for the character. It was an emotional journey for me. And no video game had ever made me feel that range of emotions in just the span of a couple hours. It was just breathtakingly beautiful, and it was heart wrenching, and it was stress inducing, and it was so many things all in one. I felt so many emotions all in such a short period of time. And while the credits were rolling, I kept thinking to myself, this is what it's about. This is what video games are all about. It's about invoking these kinds of reactions, invoking this kind of emotional investment. And I thought to myself, I want to feel that again. I want to play more video games that will make me feel things. And so, up until then, I was basically playing games as a way of just self-gratification, just beating it for the sake of beating it, and not trying to get emotionally, and I wasn't really allowing myself to get emotionally invested in any of the games that I was playing. I was just playing it for the sake of playing it. And then I played that game. And I just fell in love with the game. It was love at first play. I fell in love with the game, and I wanted to feel that love again for other video games. And so at that point, I went back to a lot of my earlier games, a lot of the other games that I played when I was really little. I started going back to them. I started replaying them, and I appreciated them more because I was actually allowing myself to be emotionally invested in them. And so it just opened my eyes. It opened my eyes to the kind of emotions video games can make you feel, to the sense of wonder that video games can bring you when you allow it. Video games are high art. I am certain of that. This game convinced me of that. But video games can also take you on an emotional journey, one that you may or may not be ready for. And this is the game that taught me that. It's a beautiful game, and I will always love this game. I will always love this game and the feelings that it makes me feel, even to this day. Even to this day, when I replay it, I still feel those emotions. I've gotten a lot better at not showing those emotions on stream, but I feel them nonetheless. I feel the sorrow. I feel the sorrow when I see our ribbon friends dying. I feel the horror when we're in the catacombs. I feel the sense of wonder as I'm exploring the desert. I feel incredibly overjoyed when we're flying through the air in that final stage and we finally make it to the summit. I feel it. I still feel it to this day, and I love that. That kind of feeling. I love that kind of feeling, and it's for that reason that this is my second favorite game of all time. So you might be thinking, wait, you just went on for 9 minutes getting all emotional and saying all this amazing stuff about Journey. How is it not your favorite game? Well, it's simple. Because I never would have played this game had it not been for my favorite game of all time. My favorite game of all time is what made me a gamer. So, with that said, thank you all so much for watching. Hope you all enjoyed, and I'll see you all in the next video. Take care, everyone.